Reshit Chochmah, Yirat Hashem. Shlomo HaMelech says the beginning of wisdom is fear of heaven. This does not mean that a person hides under the desk and doesn't operate. Now, many people are anxious about too many things, to the point of these little anxieties becoming fears. They're afraid of the government. The government's depopulation, the government taking taxes, the government vaccine, the government this, the government that. People have all these conspiracies in their mind. Some are real, some are fake, but they forget that God is the one that runs the world. And they are petrified of the government so much so that they turn themselves into some form of recluse, some form of conspiracy theorist. And they are no longer able to relate to the normalcy of society. They cannot associate with anyone normal. They cannot even learn Torah in a normal fashion, because everything that they learn, they always want to connect it to their predisposition. That this, oh yeah, what it says over here, the end of the world. Oh yeah, of course, because the guy on something Infowars says that something's going to happen. Everything is like, in essence, instead of the Torah being the guide, instead of the Torah being the blueprint to creation, conspiracy theories are their blueprint. And obviously, this is a very sick thing. But needless, it's happening, and it's on the rise, especially in the last couple of years. Many frum people have turned into conspiracy theories to the magnitude of 100 because of all the vaccines and all that stuff that happens. And of course, some of them that may be watching right now says, yeah, but I was right. Yeah, but you ruined your life. Right, wrong, you ruined your life. You didn't save your life. You're alive because God says you'll be alive, not because of your conspiracy theories and because you took or you didn't take the vaccine. You're alive because God decided that you are. That's what Rabbi Ephraim writes in his Sicha Shvuit, the Sefer, Sicha Shvuit in Parashat Tazria. In the name of the Chafetz Chaim, someone asked him, the Chafetz Chaim, about different things. So the Chafetz Chaim says, is the sun going to come up tomorrow? And they said, yes. Chafetz Chaim says, how do you know? And the guy said, well, because it did that yesterday and the day before and the day before. Chafetz Chaim says, yeah, that's the wrong answer though. So what's the right answer? The sun will rise tomorrow because it says so in the Torah in Parashat Noach. Yom v'layla lo yishbotu. The day and night will never cease. That's why the sun will rise. It's not going to rise because it did it yesterday. Whatever exists in the world exists because the Torah says so. Not because you got used to it. Or because the news says so. So a person that is afraid of all of these things, new world orders, conspiracies, they're a very, very difficult and nearly impossible time to learn Torah because they're constantly guided by a very, very strong belief in some outside power. On the depths of it, you could even call it some form of idolatry, because they literally believe that these outside powers are more powerful than they really are. They forget that God runs the world. And of course, they'll justify by saying, no, but there's ishtadlut, and there's laws in the Torah that says you have to protect yourself. And everyone's going to justify their behavior. But needless to say, those fears are certainly not making anybody's life any better. Some people have developed such anxieties against the government that they literally can't live their life. Some people have developed anxieties against people in general. They think that everyone is out there to get them. They can't survive in a job. They can't survive in a relationship. They can't survive in basic relationships that are friendships. Why? Something has to be wrong. Why is he calling me? Why is he this? Why is he that? Why do you want this? They think everyone's out there to get them. And they have these anxieties and these fears that someone is out there to get them. Why did you say that way? They think too deeply into everything. They microanalyze every word. You write them a 4-word text message. They analyze it for 2.5 days. Why did you use this language and not that? Why did you use that word? Why did you send me the message at that time? Is it because I said something to you and you have no idea what they're talking about? And then you finally realize that they're referring to a text message they sent you 4 days ago, as if you remember. And unfortunately, this sickness is growing. The anxieties that people have destroy their lives. Some people have a very big anxiety when it comes to food. They're afraid that whatever they're preparing is not going to be good enough. Whoever's eating is not going to be happy. And it's not because they're a restaurateur. They're a simple wife or husband or whoever, they're cooking for someone. Or, worse yet, they're ordering food for people to eat. And they're afraid that some of the people are not going to like it. And then they're going to be there to blame. Oh, they're asking me to be in charge of ordering food for this event. I don't know if anybody's going to like it. I don't know. And instead of literally spending a half hour just placing the order, 3.5 days, and they still haven't placed the order. Why? They're analyzing. What is this one like? What is that one like? What is this? What is that? I don't know. They're stressed out. They lost sleep. Just pick up the phone, plus pick a meal, times it by the number of people that are coming in the end. But they're too afraid. They're too anxious. Some people are afraid of moving forward in business or any type of new relationship. They have the ability to grow. They have the ability to do more. But they're afraid to move forward. Why? New is scary. Why don't you sign a deal with him? I don't know. I don't know. What's the catch? The catch is he wants to make more money. That's the catch. Yeah, but why did he call me? Because he views you as an opportunity to make more money. So he's trying to make money on me. Yeah, that's the point of business. Oh, so he's trying to get me. No, he's just trying to make money. And you have a contract that you could read. He has a contract that he could read. And if you agree to the terms, the end. Yeah, but what if something happens? That's the point of the contract. Something happens is the point of the contract that tells you what happens if something happens. Yeah, but what if he doesn't agree? And you start looking at these people like, you know what? How did you leave your house? Does somebody dress you in the morning still? And you're not sure how they proceed with life, but that's unfortunately sometimes. Sometimes some people are that way. They can't proceed forward. They're too scared to move. They're too scared to take risks. They're too scared to proceed. The worst yet is when people have literally programmed themselves to be scared to miss a phone call. This is certainly a fear that's self-inflicted to the addiction that people have to their phones. The phone rings, and it doesn't matter what they're doing. They could be literally in the shower. And they run out of the shower. Hello? Yeah, I'll call you back. And they put there's a voicemail. The voicemail was created 40 years ago. I think it was created even before the phones. Let the phone let the call go to voicemail. No, but what if it's important? They'll call back if it's important. Or they'll leave a message. What if it's an emergency? Are you police? No. Are you an ambulance? No. Fire station? No. So what difference does it make if it's an emergency? You can't help anyway. But people are afraid to miss phone calls. The point of everything that I'm saying to you is that you see that people have literally developed fears for everything. But the moment you tell them you're obligated to be afraid of God, because if you don't follow him, you'll get punished severely, much more than you can comprehend. Immediately, people think that, it can't be. Wait, so you're afraid of the phone, you're afraid of the New World Order that exists or doesn't exist, you're afraid of everything else, but being afraid of God, that you're having a hard time with. Do you know why? Because the evil inclination, the Satan, he doesn't interfere with you being afraid of everything else. In fact, he tries to help you being afraid of everything else. Keep you busy being afraid of everything else. Because that is either not fulfilling your purpose or is actually going against your purpose in this world. But to be afraid of God, that certainly is going to get you to fulfill your purpose. Hence the reason of why he will do everything in his power to get you not to be afraid of God. So the Chazon Ish says that there are some people that have this gift of being afraid of all the violations. Are you afraid of all the violations? You watched the shiur thus far. You're an hour and a half into it. By now you should ask yourself, are you afraid before you do everything? Not just the stuff that you know off the top of your head that you're afraid of. I'm afraid to violate Shabbat. That's because you keep Shabbat. Oh, I'm afraid to eat non-kosher. Well, that's because you eat kosher. What about the other stuff that you don't do regularly, that hasn't become a part of your day-to-day life? Are you afraid of doing honest business? Are you afraid of doing dishonest business? Are you afraid of hurting somebody? Insulting somebody? Disrespecting somebody? Are you afraid of misunderstandings? Are you afraid that your kids will not follow the Torah? Are you afraid that perhaps one of your beliefs may be incorrect? Are you afraid that you may not have that much time in this world? Are you afraid of punishment? Are you really afraid before you do anything? Because if a person is truly afraid, that means they have to think about it regularly. Reshit chokhmah yirat Hashem. Shlomo HaMelech says the beginning of wisdom is fear of heaven. This does not mean that a person hides under the desk and doesn't operate. But rather this is a person that takes into account God, reward, punishment. Which one is this decision going to lead me to? Which decision? Every decision. If I'm about to write this text, is this text going to be in the category of reward or punishment? If I'm about to answer this phone call, is this phone call going to be reward or punishment? How could a call be reward and punishment? A million ways. One, are you in the middle of studying Torah and now you're going to disrupt the Torah to answer the call? Certainly, that's in the punishment area, unless it's life risk, and you know for sure it's life risk, not possible life risk. Or it's one of your friends. They like to talk Lashon Hara. They want to tell you about so-and-so's engagement, so-and-so's accident, so-and-so's adultery, so-and-so's movie, so-and-so's this. They like to talk about people. Certainly the punishment area, not the reward area. A phone call is more likely to be in the punishment area than the reward area. Why? Because when you talk to people, the more they talk, unless they're talking Torah, usually they're talking about things that will cause you to sin, or it's sin itself. Going to a certain place, is that place going to lead you to reward or punishment? Whether it's a party, an event, food, laundry, everything. Is it going to be reward or punishment? The more a person is afraid of God, the more they're going to take God with them in every single decision. We are meant to be a light unto the nations, not to follow their misguided practices. Remember, every Jew has to remember that he's a Jew and she's a Jew. We don't celebrate non-Jewish holidays, even if they seem harmless.